Okay, this is the next restoration project for flipclockfans.com, the Panasonic RC-7462. This is the clock that has the Blacklight digital numbers there. Most of these clocks, the Blacklight's not working. And the Blacklight's a little scary. It runs on a higher voltage. I don't know how they do it, but they've jacked up the voltage on it. It comes out at 138 to that bulb. So I'm going to get a converter to knock it down to 12 volts, and I'm going to go ahead and use a little festoon bulb. It's got 6 LEDs, and it puts out a black light. I've already tested it. I had to connect to some batteries, and gives a nice glow. So we got that from superbrightleds.com. It was a really decent price. So I've got to get a holder for the bulb, and it's actually coming in the mail. I got it from another company, and so is the converter. So we're going to go ahead and, of course, do a thorough cleaning. Got to do a complete disassembly. I've already disassembled one of these before. There's a little trick to it. The other thing that I did was when I bought this clock, someone had engraved this, and I was actually able to get that off. As with most serious restorations, you're basically going to end up taking 2 clocks and make one for things that have issues. But this I got to come up, and it does come off. But I had to use 2 razor blades, very carefully, of course. I just took my time and pried that up, and I didn't end up scratching anything. But they glued that down with some, it looks like some double-sided tape, but also the evil black glue that they use in these clocks. That black stuff, it actually melts into the plastic to adhere it. It's just really melted into the plastic, and it does a good job. But boy, I hate that stuff, whatever that was. But anyway, I took my time with it, as you should too if you want to do that, because you don't want to warp that thing, because it does fit back down in there. I may adhere it very lightly with something. And as far as the other part of the metal, because I do have 2 good wooden pieces here, and the cabinet's good. There's tabs in here, and I may take the other one and see how hard it is to take that off, but I'm not going to mess with that. So the clock's in fairly good working order as far as I can tell, except the clock's a little stiff on the turn here. So I may actually take the internals from the other clock and put it in here. One thing I did find on this clock, which really got me at first, was when I was taking it down, the screws here are pretty evident. They're very shallow screws to get this thing apart. Right up in there, there's a shallow screw. So I had it apart, and I could not get the thing apart. And that's when I realized that down in here, there is a very deep screw that you have to go down for, and you'll miss that if you're not careful, because you'll take this thing off, and it provides access to the electronics, but it does very little else as far as disassembly. But deep down in that hole, the screw's got to come out, and then everything will lift off. All the buttons, of course, come off. These stay on. Don't try to take those off. This stays on. All these buttons just pull right off. So, okay, we're going to do restoration of this clock. We'll see how this thing goes and see what those numbers look like after we're done. Look for updates on flipclockfans.com.